getting back to the story. So we're 2015 at this point. You've got your blog, you've got your Tumblr themes that are selling, you've got your client work that's on the side, you've got your Instagram, and you've just started YouTube.
Yeah.
What does kind of Oliur's empire look like for the next for the next few years?
From 2015 to 2019, I was going to the office every day.
Okay.
Is it 2019? Yeah, I was pretty much going to the office every day. But in 2017, I bought my own house. I purchased my own house. And ever since I bought my own house, I was sort of splitting the time between the office and home. Mainly because, this is going to sound so ridiculous, but it was a half an hour commute. Right. And I just thought, hey, I could do a lot of my work at home.
Yep.
I don't need to go to the office because at home, it's just me. There's no one to disturb me. I don't have any sort of distractions from family or anything. So, yes, it's sort of, those sort of years I was doing the same sort of stuff. I was doing themes, I was doing design work, I was doing YouTube and Instagram and stuff. But I also started a Shopify store. I started ulx.com, ulxstore.com in 2016, 2017.
Okay.
I was experimenting with Shopify at the time. I actually started a few Shopify stores.
Yep.
Because dropshipping was a big thing at the time.
Okay.
And I started doing dropshipping just to see what it's like. And I realized dropshipping, at the time, it was a bit of a... I feel like it got a bad rep.
Okay, so for people who might be listening who don't know what Shopify or dropshipping are, or how would you describe those things?
So Shopify is just the platform. So you use Shopify to sell products online, physical products online. And then dropshipping is when you have products on your store, but then you don't actually have the products in stock with you. You have someone else send the products, maybe a factory in China or a factory in the UK or a manufacturer, or it could just be old Jim who lives down the road and makes leather wallets in his little shed or whatever. You know, you would just send the order to that person, to the dropshipper, and they would send the order directly to the customer. So you don't have to get involved with the actual product management and shipping the product. You're sort of just making the sale, getting the customer.
Okay. So customer buys from your site, but what the customer probably doesn't realize is that behind the scenes, Jim has got his collection of leather goods, and Jim is the one sending him the thing.
Yes.
But it's as if you're the one sending him the thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which is actually...
How does that work? Like, why does that work?
So it's funny because I feel like dropshipping gets a bad rep because of long shipping times and things like that. But what I think a lot of people don't realize is that every single major company in the world, apart from Amazon, does dropshipping. Even Apple does dropshipping.
Wait, how so?
Because Apple obviously have a fulfillment center in Ireland, for example, for the UK. And that's where all the products are shipped from. And that fulfillment center might not actually be run by Apple. It might be run by a completely third party.
Yeah, when I get Apple products, they're from like Synctron or some company like that. I'm like, what the hell is Synctron?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a third party handling all the logistics and the shipping and everything for Apple. And that's a very common thing.
Okay.
Which people don't seem to realize. Dropshipping isn't a new thing. It's been around for decades. It's been around for a long time.
Because I guess when you hear dropshipping, you think scam.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Which is such a shame. It's like the word entrepreneur now. It's
it's just a bit cringe. Yeah.
Right? Same with dropshipping. I think that's exactly what's happened.
Okay, so you were one of the OG. Well, I guess 2017 wasn't really OG, but like you were.
I was dabbling in it.
Dabbling in dropshipping.
And I was making maybe a couple of $1,000s a month, but it wasn't very profitable and it wasn't a good business.
Okay, how are you making a couple of $1,000s a month from dropshipping? Like, what does that look like?
So a couple of $1,000s a month.
Because that seems pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. But it wasn't very profitable.
Oh, as in revenue-wise, as opposed to profit-wise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what sort of stuff were you selling?
So it would have been like MacBook sleeves and felt desk mats and things like that.
Okay.
I'd buy them from China or whatever. But I realized that doing drop shipping like that, the shipping times were just way too long for customers. So I took it a step further and I thought to myself, hey, why don't I have the space, I have this office space, I can store the products here. So I would bulk buy products like any normal retailer, like any normal business. I'd bulk buy the products, I'd store them in my office space, and we would send them out from here. We would send them to customers in the UK, in the EU and the US, because it's much quicker than having a supplier in China do it for us.
Okay, so you would buy like 1,000 units in bulk of like a MacBook sleeve from China, store them in your house / office, and physically like ship them to people around the world.
Exactly, because you have a lot more control over the customer service and the sort of the way the business works. It's also quite a bit more profitable because obviously you're buying products in bulk rather than buying each time a customer buys.
Okay. So you're selling the stuff on a Shopify store, and how did things grow from that kind of 2017 onwards?
So I realized that, hey, I'm making money. And if we go back to your question about how was I making the money, I was marketing it mainly through my Instagram profile.
Yep.
I'd post the products on my Instagram profile, and I'd have followers and stuff who were interested by it. That's how it started. With dropshipping and stuff, I realized, hey, if I want to make more money, if I want to do this properly, I need to start designing my own products. So I started designing my own products in Photoshop, in Sketch, just literally writing down on paper if I have to. And I would come up with other products that I like the look of, put it all together in like a PDF document, send it off to a manufacturer in China. And I'd be like, hey, can you make this? Can you make this for me with my logo on it?
Yep.
It's funny because it sounds very like half-arse in a way, but it's a very common thing that most people do. But
so you can just do that. You can just design something on a napkin and send it to someone in China, and they will be like, "Yes,
they'll try and figure
our factory can make this for you."
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I think the toughest part of it is you do need capital, obviously, because to buy 1,000 units, to buy sample products, it does cost a lot of money. And like a sample can cost anywhere between $100 to like $1,000, for example, because they're only making one unit, and sometimes they have to adjust the tooling, adjust the manufacturing, all that sort of stuff to just make a sample.
Yeah.
But then once you made a sample and you're happy with it, you make a bulk order. Sometimes they actually take off the sample fee, which is pretty nice.
Can anyone just do this? Like, is there a website that you go on where you can just like find a factory in China to make a thing for you? Like, how does it work?
There's a website I feel like most people know of who are in that sort of world called Alibaba.com, where you can go to and you can find manufacturers and stuff, and you can work with them and making your own custom products.
So do you like ring them up or have a Zoom call? How does that actually work? Like, let's say I wanted to design the perfect backpack for my everyday carry, which is the thing I want to do at some point. Perfectly sized for a 13-inch MacBook, 11-inch iPad. That would be really cool. So what would that process look like? But I'm like, I have a vision for like the perfect backpack.
So, like I said, the first thing you need to do is come up with a sketch, come up with any features that you like, come up with anything that you'd want in the backpack, any sort of key requirements that you want. Look at other backpacks you like the look of, take the best bits of them, and then mix and mash them together, almost. Send that off to a manufacturer. You go on Alibaba, you can put in an RFQ, which is request for quote.
Okay.
And you upload your design file or designs or whatever, you tell them the measurements, the materials that you like, and then you usually have like a bunch of suppliers get back in touch with you. And then from there, you do have to spend quite a bit of time researching each supplier, seeing what other products they've made in the past, seeing if they have any products that are similar to what you've already made, because obviously if they have made similar products, it's going to be much easier working with them in making the product that you want.
Okay. And what does like working with them look like on a day-to-day basis? Do you like go to China and talk to them? How does that like I literally know nothing about what it's like to, so I'm a complete noob about this.
So I've never been to China in my life.
Okay.
It's all done online and it's all done on Alibaba.com. You can even have the orders done through there.
Okay.
And Alibaba provide like protection almost. So say you order $10,000 worth of stock and it doesn't meet the spec that you sent to them. Say there's something off, you can sometimes get your money back. It really depends. It can depend. And it's all just done through Alibaba. You can talk
just through DMs?
Pretty much, yeah. You can send them, like if you have Slack or WhatsApp, you can send them your contact details and you can talk to them through there as if like they were a friend. But obviously, the biggest issue with that is that there is a language barrier, of course. They do speak the Chinese, most of them, and they sometimes have a rep who can speak English. But even then, it's quite broken English. Sometimes you get some people who are great who can speak English very well, but some people are quite broken English. And again, it's just something you have to work through and figure out. Okay.
So how long did it take from like kind of idea for designing a product to getting a sample in your hand from a factory in China for you?
Good question. So designing a product, coming up with the design and stuff can maybe take me a couple of days because usually these product designs just come along randomly. I'm like, hey, I want to make this product. Designing it, whatever, 2 or 3 days, sending it off on Alibaba, looking for a manufacturer. That can take maybe a week or two. Figuring out who to make a sample with, who should make your sample, and then getting a sample made can sometimes take up to 60 days. It can take a long time, 2 months. And then once you're happy with the sample, because maybe you're not happy with the first sample, you might have to get another one made, so it means another 2 months. But once you're happy with the sample, again, it can be anywhere between 60 to 120 days until you actually get the products. in your hands.
Okay. And do you ever have to worry about quality control for the samples, for the bulk order?
Yeah, of course. So there are different ways you can do this. You can hire a third party in China to check the products for you, or you can just have the manufacturer send you pictures and stuff, see what the products are like. There's always risk involved, as with anything like this. There's always risk. But it's just one of the things of making products online, making physical products.
What's been the biggest kind of mistake / downside / like bad thing that has happened to you as a result of trying to sell physical stuff online?
Yeah, I've actually shared this in a video before. I can't remember the exact amount that I lost, but I think it was, I can't remember if it was 10. I know I've lost more than $10,000. I think it was maybe $30,000, something like that, where I bought some stock and it wasn't up to scratch and I just couldn't get a refund. I went through the bank, I went through Alibaba, and I couldn't sell these products. Like, they worked and everything, but the logo just wasn't right. It just didn't look good enough.
Yep.
So it
You
was
just
such
have to
a
write it
shame.
off.
Yeah, I just had to write it off. I literally had to throw it in the bin, which is such a shame because it's a waste of resources, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of materials. Like, it's just obviously not very good for the planet either. So that's probably one of the biggest things, and thankfully that's never happened since because I've learned my lesson.
Okay. What lesson was that?
I think it was just a matter of giving a lot more attention to the samples, giving a lot more attention to the bulk order, making sure they send me high resolution pictures of the bulk order.
Yep.
Of like maybe I get them to send me pictures of like 5 or 6 items in the bulk order just to see what they look like, and making sure that the spec I've written is as detailed as it can possibly be. Because then I can go to Alibaba and be like, hey, look, they haven't followed the spec, so they haven't made the product to my requirements. I want my money back.
Oh, and you can just like say to the factory, hey, I want photos, and they'll be like, all right, here you go.
Yes, most factories, most good factories anyway, would be happy to send you photos, and they'll even send you photos if you like of the inside of their factory. Yep. So you can see working conditions and things like that. Make sure things are up to scratch and that there's no children working in there, for example. Because I know obviously that can be a big thing when working with manufacturers. And you just got to hope, unless you can visit the factory yourself, you just got to hope that there aren't children working there. And Alibaba usually does vet all the manufacturers that they have on their website to make sure obviously that they meet the rules and the laws that are in place. Okay.
So how, if you're open to sharing, how profitable is it to run a sort of physical products business where you design stuff, manufacture it in China, bring it back to the UK and ship it from the UK? What does that look like?
It can really, really vary. So, it can be anywhere between like maybe 5% profit margins to like 60, 70%. I've seen some businesses that make 60, 70% profit margins because maybe they already, for example, like you, already have an audience. So they don't need to spend money on like marketing, for example, because marketing, I think, is the biggest expense for any business which is selling products, physical products. So yeah, it can vary a lot.
Okay, so if I wanted to make the sort of work with you to design this like perfect backpack that would fit my everyday carry, I could take to the office every day, maybe in 3 different colors, and then spin up a Shopify store, pitch it to the audience.
Sure.
What do you think what would be your estimate of like ballpark costs and how much can we sell this for? Like, what would that look like if we were constructing a business out of this?
Again, it just varies so much. It depends on backpack materials, the spec of the backpack, pockets and whatever. Okay. But let's just say you wanted quite a high cost.
Yeah, I want something sort of peak design style / like, high end.
I think it would cost you anywhere between $20 to $50 per unit.
Oh, okay.
So per unit.
Yep.
And then
sell it for like $200 per unit.
Exactly. I think that's a big surprise a lot of people seem to have. They think, iPhones cost $200, $300 to make, but then they sell them for $1,000. I think a lot of people don't realize that's just the material cost.
Yep.
There's so much cost involved. For example, your time of making the backpack, logistics, shipping, because most likely you're going to offer free shipping.
Yep.
Shipping is expensive, man. Very, very expensive. I feel like we've all gotten used to free shipping from Amazon, but Amazon, it costs them a lot of money, but they've got a lot of efficient things in place. That's why they can do it. Yeah. But yeah, it's actually quite standard to see a $250 backpack that only costs $50 to make. Okay. That's quite a standard thing.
And so $50 for the cost of the backpack. What would be the ballpark costs for the other stuff associated with selling a backpack on the internet?
I don't know really with ballpark costs, to be honest, because
like shipping. How much does shipping cost? Like when you're sending your stuff out.
So for example, shipping a backpack, for example, to someone in the US can cost us like $30, $40.
Bloody hell. Okay.
Exactly. More than the actual product itself.
Yeah.
Which is very common.
Okay.
Very, very common thing.
And then I guess if you're running ads and things, then it all adds up. But the nice thing about ads is you can really track the ROI, return on investment of the ads.
Yeah.
So you would hope that you can spend, let's say, $10,000 a month, put it on your American Express, get the points, and you will literally see a return of maybe $30,000 a month from those ads.
30,000 is on the high end.
Okay.
So a good ballpark is like around $2. So for every dollar you spend, you make $2. But again, it very much depends on the product. So for example, say you're selling an electric scooter, that's $1,000. You know, the ROI on that could be around 1 or 2 or 3. But because the product is a lot more expensive, spending $500 on an ad to make $1,000, you've made a $500 profit there, or $500 margin, which is obviously like, say, 10, 20 iPhone cases, or even more. They were like, 50 iPhone cases. So yeah, like it just varies so much from product to product.